Honestly, I liked Homecoming better.
You don't want any part of this.
Hello there everybody, it's me, the Canadian Movie Buff, with a review of Spider-Man Far From Home. Peter Parker is hoping to get away from the stress of being Spider-Man by going on a school trip to Europe. However, his vacation gets turned upside down when Nick Fury and Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio, call him in to help fight the Elementals. After the big epic spectacle of Endgame, it was nice to go back and lower the stakes a little bit and go on a smaller scale adventure. Similar to what we got with the Ant-Man movies, Far From Home is a nice breather after an Avengers sequel. Unfortunately, like most of the recent MCU films, it thinks that comedy is a substitute for quality. Jake Gyllenhaal is amazing as Quentin Beck. His performance rivals that of Michael Keaton as Vulture for the best MCU Spider-Man villain. If we're talking strictly performance, those guys are on the same tier as the Doc Ock and Green Goblin from the Sam Raimi films. It also continues the proud tradition of Tom Holland's Spider-Man going up against villains whose actors haven't won an Oscar but are long overdue for one. And what I liked about him going away to some other part of the world is that it shows a sense of growth and maturity. He doesn't stop being Spider-Man when he leaves New York City. That part of him is everywhere he goes, and that most of the time he doesn't really have a choice in when he can and cannot be the hero. He has to be ready for action when he least expects it, but also remember when to back down and let someone else take the reins. There's also that aspect of him growing up and losing Tony Stark as a guidance figure. So far, Tony Stark has been holding his hand through this whole superhero business, but now that he's gone, he has to, well, as I said, grow up, mature, become Spider-Man. But that's also where the movie falls apart. You see, part of the arc in Homecoming was that he proved that he doesn't really need Tony Stark, and he could be a hero by his own volition, with his own costume. Yet throughout the movie, it's shown that Tony Stark actually left a ton of stuff for him to use. I get it, kid's gotta get around, he probably is going to need a new suit from time to time, but come on, the thing about Peter Parker and Spider-Man in general is that he's essentially a self-made hero. He doesn't start out with the most fancy gadgets or the best looking costume. He had to work his way up and then eventually get better at making a costume and developing better technology. I mean, the kid's a genius, for crying out loud. Give him enough time and he could make the sort of stuff that Tony Stark was building. Now, this wouldn't be a high school comedy without, well, the comedy. And boy, do they pack this thing to the brim with jokes. For every one that actually landed, 3 or 4 fell flat. They literally did what Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 did wrong. We can't have a serious moment because 70% of the dialogue is either some build up to a punchline or a witty one-liner or an attempt at a witty one-liner. But it just comes off as awkward or kind of, okay, what? I like the second half of this movie far better than the first. For the first 20 minutes, the writing was so clumsy and that I thought, okay, what am I watching? A Spider-Man movie or a Disney Channel rom-com? Far From Home should have been the first movie of Phase 4, because here it feels like an out-of-place epilogue to the Infinity Saga. It's an enjoyable Spider-Man movie, but you can smell the twist coming a mile away, the humor is awkward, stifted, and overstays its welcome, and Peter Parker still feels like a side character in his own story. Honestly, I'm surprised the subpar quality of some of the biggest blockbusters this year. If this is a sign of what's to come, I should tap out of following the MCU franchise before it's too late. I recommend holding back and seeing it at the cheap seats. Ooh, 2 MCU movies within the same year that get the cheap seat rating. Ooh, edgy. That's gonna go well in the comments. Am I a DC fanboy yet? Alright, that's my review of Spider-Man Far From Home. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave your answers and thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and hit the bell icon if you're new here. And as always, this is the Canadian Movie Buff saying I hope you had a fantastic weekend at the movies. See ya!